Welcome back. So, it's been a while since I did a video in this room, and yeah, it happens. There's a few things I wanted to talk about. First off, congratulations to Atlanta on winning the World Series. That is something that is it feels like it's long overdue. I remember when the Atlanta Braves had like the best pitching staff I've ever seen with Glavine and Maddox and Smoltz and various other pitchers there, and it was a really fantastic team. And then things, well, yeah, it just didn't work out. They were not able to get over the hump, and that was kind of a running joke for a long time, was that Atlanta was not able to win those World Series. So hey, finally it happens for them. But that being said, I wanted to talk about the main uh, point of this video, which is something I've noticed online, and it's something that's bugged me for a long time. And that is that I read, like, there was a study that was done a couple weeks ago, was released, finding that cats are just as affectionate and attached to people as dogs. And I thought, yeah, uh, the concept that cats are somehow aloof and they don't need to be around people and they don't need people at all is, I think, more to do with how they express themselves than actually them being less attached to people. If you have a dog and you say, "Hey, come here," they come over. If you say to your cat, "Hey, come here," they might, or they might be like, "No." And that's the big difference. I think the biggest difference between cats and dogs is the word "no." A lot of dogs just don't. They aren't aware of the word "no," whereas cats are quite aware of its existence and they're quite willing to tell you, "I'm not doing that." They also do tend to get a little. It's a little easier to tick off your cat than it is to tick off your dog, and it may depend on the personality of the animal in question. I've had Bear for 8 years now, and she's never actually got mad and swatted at me. Shadow will. And Shadow is very quick to it. He's very quick to be like, "And I've had enough of that," and swat. That's why I don't really play with him, because at some point he'll decide that string will stop moving if I kill the hand that's holding it. So, whereas Pixel loves playing with string and she could do it for hours and she'd never slap a person. Shadow decides I've had enough. But it's interesting to me because this is not the first study I've seen that's taught, hey, so it turns out cats are like emotional and they actually like people. Yeah, I could tell anybody. I could save them all kinds of money on these studies. Just talk to me. I've had cats for decades. I grew up with them. Also grew up with dogs. So because I always get the comment of, well, why don't you have a dog? What what happened in my house when I was a kid was we always had a cat and a dog. We had one of each, and we always made sure that one was introduced as a baby, as a puppy or as a kitten, and that made it easier. And if you had them as a puppy and a kitten together, well, that was great because then you end up with them kind of adopting each other's little idiosyncrasies. And it was always funny too when I was young, which was many years ago. But we had a dog we adopted as a puppy, and we already had a full grown cat, and he kind of tolerated her. I was as close to get. He kind of tolerated her, but he would lay on his back in the sun to get the heat from the sun, and who wouldn't? And so the dog lay down right next to him, all four paws in the air, like this is how we lay, I guess. And she would follow the cat, and she would absolutely do what the cat did. It was kind of funny to watch. And the one phrase I could throw at that dog, she wasn't very trainable, but the one phrase I could teach her that she learned right away and she always followed was go get the kitty. Because there were times where I would hear Checkers getting into something he wasn't supposed to, and so I would turn to the dog and go get the kitty, and she'd bark at me and then run off, and then she'd come back. She might have a scratch on her nose. I might hear a bit of a kerfuffle in the other room, but she would come back very happy and very proud of herself that she went and got the cat, and he would get out of what he was doing. So that is one thing that I kind of miss with not having a dog anymore, is that I don't have the ability to do that. But again, the concept that somehow they're not as affectionate is weird to me, because when I wake up in the morning, I've got Shadow at my feet. I've got Pixel now sleeps on this side, and then Bear sleeps on this side. I cannot move. I am surrounded by cat. Sometimes all three of them are laying on top of me, so when I wake up, can't move. And you'll have some weird dreams when you physically are unable to move and your subconscious becomes aware of that. So that's always interesting to me. But yeah, I just find it so weird that there is this concept that people seem to accept that cats are somehow less affectionate. And then on top of this, last night, now we had noticed like some nesting behavior from our female rabbit from Dandelion. And Yvonne had been checking her and couldn't find actual evidence that she was pregnant. We suspected she might be. And then last night, there's babies, and there's all there's writhing babies in this little nest that she had built, and they're adorable and they're sweet. And of course, that means the male rabbit's got to get fixed like yesterday. And yeah, they're going to be cute. They're going to be sweet. But what we found out on the internet was you've got to watch because mother rabbits aren't really that close to their babies, and they're not natural mothers, and they're not affectionate. And so you got to watch because this, and it gave us all these things that we have to watch for and be concerned about. So we had the babies in the house today with the mother and the father, and she is very affectionate. She's over with her babies constantly, and she's fine with people picking them up. And she comes over and she grooms them while we're holding the babies, and she's very affectionate. And we're like, okay, so the internet was wrong about that too. I know, like we've been watching videos too on rabbits, and seeing all this stuff about their prey animals. They're scared all the time. They're prey animals. You got to watch. They're always something's going to kill them, and they know something's going to kill them, and you got to watch them because they're really jumpy. And our rabbits aren't like they have no fear of strangers. When there's a dog barking at them, they just run over to that side of the hutch like, oh, what's the dog want? And there's no fear there. They don't have it. So I keep hearing all this stuff about they're prey animals. Nobody told them they're prey animals. And I don't know whether they're not that smart or they just feel really safe. But I haven't seen any fear behavior that I keep seeing in videos online and in these articles online, like, oh, rabbits, they're really scared all the time, so you got to watch this. No, ours are not. So in the coming days and weeks, there will be videos on this channel of the baby bunny rabbits who do not look like bunny rabbits out of the gate. They're kind of hairless, and they just look like rodents. They're hairless rodents. And in the videos too that we've been watching, it looks like that changes very quickly. So within a couple of weeks, there will be videos that I make on the main channel, probably on here as well, where I'm holding a bunny rabbit. Now, interestingly, we also signed up so that, and again, this is for kids' education too, right? Because we homeschool, and there's these you're able to incubate eggs, and then these chicks hatch, and then within a couple of weeks after they hatch, you give them back. And then they give you the next batch of eggs, which is cute. And it's like, okay, so we'll have chicks for a couple of weeks, and then we hand them back. So there's the possibility that a couple of weeks from now, there could be a video where I have a baby bunny in one hand and a tiny little fluffy white baby or little yellow baby chick in the other hand. So, going for maximum cuteness, which the internet has told me will get you a lot of views and get you a lot of attention. So, basically, we've started a farm accidentally. Whoops. But yeah, so the chick thing, it's nice, and again, it's an educational thing for the kids. The bunnies will be as well. We've also let them know that with the litter, and it's 5 bunny rabbits in the litter, that there's the possibility that one or more of the babies may not be strong enough and may not make it. That's not that unusual with rabbit litters. So we've let it be known, hey, this can happen. Just be ready. And I think we're kind of like getting ourselves ready too, because that's terrible. I hope they all make it. But we've seen that there's one that's a little smaller than the others, so we have to keep an eye on that one. There's one that's really fat, so clearly he's pretty well fed. He's doing well. And I'm trying really hard. The problem is that I know when I was a kid and we had these stray kittens that I ended up bonding with one immediately. And that happens with me where I will, bond with an animal and I'll be like, crap, this wasn't supposed to happen. When we got Shadow and Bear, immediately I had a bond with Shadow within a couple of days. I was like, and okay. And again, that's that difference between cats and dogs thing being not really there. cats can bond to humans the same as a puppy can. When we got Shadow and Bear, they were maybe 3 weeks old. They were very little, and so I think that strengthened the bond. I think when they're separated from their mothers before they're ready to, I think they bond stronger to humans, because yeah, they're babies. They follow me everywhere. Bear freaks out when I'm out of sight. Shadow is always at my feet. I named him appropriately. And yeah, so I'm finding out that animals are different, or maybe it's just something about us and our animals, and they're just different than the rest of the species that they belong to, because our rabbits do not know they're prey animals. They have no idea. They run around the yard, they flit around the yard, they don't care. You could have like 8 or 9 hawks, I think, spinning right above them, and they'd look up like, I wonder what the hawks are looking at. There would be no, which is that's concerning too, right? Because there's supposed to be natural fear. I don't know that they have it, but there you go. If you let me know your thoughts, if you have had cats or rabbits, and hey, World Series. So yeah, and I'm wearing my Blue Jays because I never really had much chance to wear this during the regular season. It got away, and we'll see whether or not that happens again with baseball next year. But there will be things to report on sports wise as well. Once the NFL gets into the second half of the season, and then there's 3 weeks without hockey in February, I will figure all of that out. I will negotiate and navigate all that. But hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a lot. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And I will say this: there's a lot of Legends of Tomorrow pictures on the set here. So you can see here you've got Zari, you've got Sarah, you've got Ava, and I will say that this year of Legend of Tomorrow, this season, starting off a heck of a lot better than last season. The whole aliens thing was bizarre, and this year, even though there's some beats that are a little bit weird, I've enjoyed it much better. But the Edgar Hoover stuff's weird. Anyways, I'll do a video on that soon too, so look forward to that. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.